Okay, class, so we are now in the part 6 of the programming model. So we are now in the programming model 3, part 6 of our tutorial in CPU and OS simulator. So just read your PDF, the one you download. First you have to watch where I get those programs. So you have to start from 1 until we finish the course. So at the end of this lab you should be able to explain how the common program variables are stored. Okay. Distinguish between different high-level program statements, understand the low-level code, explain how the program subroutine works, and use the simulator to create user interrupts. So you can do the advanced review. Okay, so we'll go to our laboratory exercise, so you can follow. So you have new window here, the compiler. Okay, this is the compiler command, and this is the simulator. Okay. Sorry. Excuse me. So now what we're going to do is to copy the code here. Okay, make sure it is quotation double quote. If it is like this, you will encounter an error. Okay, so now click the symbol table, copy this in the compiler, compile it. Okay, so this one is let's do it. Click the compiler here and paste the code here and click compile and compile. Then after that you can click this one, you can follow the code here. Okay, so you can click this one to follow which line of code is in the assembly. Okay, so you can click here also, so that's the one, and str variable 2, this is the one. As you can see, the data start in 47, this one is 58. So there is a 47 here and there is a 58 here. As you click the 47, it will go here. You click the Boolean variable, so this is the one, and show symbol table, and you can see these are the integer, this is the variable type, and these are the address. So you can click this one, stay on top if you want to see always on top. Okay, so we have 696 and 13. Okay, so after that, load this is the program into your main, load that program in here and show the program data here. Okay, and run. So show program data, as you can see, it will assign this here. See, follow this one, the movement of the registry. So it's copy, it's assigning a hello, so it's copying hello and again on that area. Okay. Okay, so until it will have the system. It will copy this and again until again. Okay, so after that, that's how you do it. Compile it. Then you can review the compiler, what's going on here. It's finished. Okay, so you click symbol, that is address 69613. These are the variable name, these are the variable name, and these are the variable type. Okay, so this is the symbol, this one, the name of the program. So that's how you do it. Because stated here, click the symbol table, observe the kind of information given in the symbol, make a note of type, size, and address. Fields for each of the entries in the table. Okay, so that's the table. After that, next load the compiled program memory. So we load it in the CPU simulator and show program memory. You click already. Then run the program, maximum speed, observe the content of the memory, paying attention to the address location you noted before. So we noted the address here, so you have to pay attention on the location you noted. Alright, so these are the address, 69613. So here the 6, 7, 8, this one is 8, 9, 16, 3. It's the boolean. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So you can review this and see the table page. So you have to look up that. Take a look of the one you see is 69. Okay. Type, size, and address. So with type, size, and address. So 6 integer, 9 boolean, true or false. The str variable 1 is on 6. So variable 2 and again is 13. But this one is 13 is it's not 13 because 16 plus 3, 16, 17, 18 is 19. This one is 19 in decimal. Okay, 1 3 here, 1 3 in hex. This one 1 3 is 19 in decimal. 13. So in here so there should be 13, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, so this is the one, start from A and this is the boolean. 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 is correct. So how start from here? 8, 9, 10, 9, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay. then this one is 6, correct, and 13, 6, correct. See? So that's how it works. The address of the memory is this start from there. Okay, so after that, enter the following source statement. As you can see, this one you will commit an error once you didn't change this into a double quote. So you need to copy here first the code in your notepad and change this into a double quote. Should be like that. Otherwise you will commit error. Okay, you will commit an error on that program. Okay, so it should be like this. Write line means write the whole line. That is the command in C programming. So the programmer, thank you to Dr. Bensi Mustafa. So we just grab some, because this is just a demonstration, so we just grab some command that available in this program, and some CPU instruction, but it's not complete. But as you can see from this one, you can enjoy it because you know how you can review those complicated programming. So this is how it works. Okay, so like what I demonstrated to you last time, no, in ODDebug. So this one, compile the above program. Now observe the code generated in the program code window. You don't need to analyze it in detail. However, count the number of jump instructions. Okay, those that start with the letter J, and note this down. Can you tell what kind of program statement this program is using? Okay. Count the number of the instruction if there is a jump. So this is test 1. Can we compile this again and paste it here? Control V. See, this is wrong. It will commit, it will make an error, so we need to copy this, because this is wrong. It will make an error on that. So it should be like that. You see, there is a color now, meaning that is a variable. Okay, so write line N and compile. So it will tokenizing. So this is how we compile. So it is compiling, then creating the CPU code here. After creating the code, we are going to load that into memory. Okay. So as you can see, there is no jump command here. See? Maybe he's talking about out. He's talking about out because those that start with letter J, because this one is an example. So count the number of out, maybe. Okay. There is no jump command here. It is an out. So we load that into a memory, and you can see we have two programs now here. We have first program, the one we run. You can close this. We have the test 1. The test 2 now is the starting from here. move register, add 1 to R03, then out, multiply, then out. After multiply, assign the value again, then out, because here there is input and output console. It's like the CMD, maybe it will out here also. So we try to run the code and let's look at the input and output. Out R05 and out R050, out R050 to the console. So this is how it works. Okay, so you can examine one by one. You click step. Okay, so clear this console. You can also stay on top if you want. Okay, so that's it. So actually from here you can see n is equal to 0, I is equal to n plus 1, p is equal to I times 3, right line. Then it's done. But how many jumps? So meaning 1, 2, 3. Because it's outing out the n first, out the I. But the output should be the the value of n. Right? Program. So I should do it. So right line n should be 0, then I should be 1, then p is 1 times 3. Alright, should be like that. So while it is actually it's not looping, you know, it is just a simple program that get the n. 1 plus 1 is 2. Okay, so that's how it works. Now observe the code generated in the program code. You don't need to analyze it in detail or count the number of the instruction. Example, those that start with letter J, maybe is telling you that those start with the out. Can you tell what kind of progress that this program is using? Right line. So you can analyze the code. Okay. Okay. Then you can show also your symbol table here. We have integer and R01, R02, R03. Is the n, variable I, variable p. Yeah, there is no address that is held by the registry. So it's doing the calculation, multiplication, and addition after calling the right line. So try to investigate how it arrives on right line command. Alright, out. Because when you see the output here, when you run this, it will show us the one. Okay, so it's up to you guys to find what kind of program statement this program is using. This is right line, so meaning it's using the out. Okay, now because there is standard in and out, input and output, stdin is in console, in monitor, no? That's the command. Okay, so program test 3. We try to find stdin. Okay, standard in C. Okay, so from here we copy this. So then we are going to compile it again. So go to your compiler and overwrite this. Paste the program. Delete. Okay. Test 3. N is equal to 0. N is less than 5. No. Then loop. 4. If n become 4, less than 5. Yes. So it will loop. Become 5 is less than 5. No more. So it will end. So compile it. Okay. This is the compilation now. After comparing, it will jump to 52 here, meaning so 0, so this n is equal to 0, then R0 goes R01, copy the value, choose to R01, R01 is equal to R03, then compare R03, jump if greater than or equal. Okay, GGE. So you can review the manual here. You can review our manual before. We have the old manual, the command. The command is in module 1 and 2, I think. Programming module 1 and 2. Okay, so these are the commands. Input and output instruction, the jump greater than, the jump equal, JNE, JGT, okay, it's greater than. So you review some command. So so it run JGE, jump greater than or equal to 5. Okay. Then you load into memory. So we have once you load that into a memory, so it will load here, and we have the test 3, and you can run it. Alright, bug introduction file. Okay, so reset the program and step move 0 R04, then step 0, step goes only 0, then compare 5, so jump to 52, not yet. So it will continue on adding 1, then it will loop and loop and loop. So it initializes to 0. Then you will do the looping until you reach the 52. So run. Do like this, so it will have the system. Is there any input and output? So no, there's no. Okay, so is there any data in memory? So none. Okay, so that's what happened on that area. Compile the above program. Okay, now observe the code generated. How many jump instructions are there? What do you think is the purpose of the jump instruction in this code? What kind of statement is an if statement? If you meet the condition, it's true. Okay, so the important thing here is you know now how to compile it, how to load in memory. Okay, let's say this one, enter the following source. From here, you can answer them. See how many jump instructions are there. So you count how many jump instructions are there. So only one jump instruction. What do you think is the purpose of the jump instruction in this code? So meaning if you did not meet the n into 5, meaning it will limit the transaction into 5. Okay, so from here enter the following source statement. Okay, so am I still recording it? Yes. Okay, so from here you can okay, so we continue this one. So p plus 1, so it's just looping, and compile the above program. Now observe the code generated, how many jump instructions are there. So the purpose of if is it will meet the condition. Okay, this test 1, test 2, this is, so then you can remove all your programs. Okay, then you can continue with the number 4. So you run the 4, so it will loop 10 times, and it multiply the value times 2. Okay, so I for n is 1 to 10, loop 10. Then we're going to compile this, and compile it, and overwrite this one, paste the value, and compile. So you can click here, what I told you, you can click the number here like stated below. Click on numbers in a bracket to highlight corresponding source line. So this is it, and this is it. So if you click here, this is the one. Okay, so after that you load again in memory, and after loading in memory you can see that it will assign a value to 1 to 10, then compare, then jump to 68 if you meet the transaction. Otherwise it will get the value, assign arrow and then multiply by 2, then equals add 1 until it will loop. Okay, so you reset the program and you can run it. As you can see here, then it will add 1 to R02, which is become 2, then become 3. So that is what it does. Okay, so remember that in assembly language you can have 8-bit. Okay, you call this byte 8-bit, word 16-bit, D word 32-bit, U word 64-bit. Remember that. Okay, so 9 then 10 equal to 10 already after compare. Okay, then compare again, so it meets become 10, just jumping to comparison. Then successful, so this one become 11. So 10 times loop, assigning the value of looping. Okay, so answer the question. So what do you think is the purpose of each of Java instruction in this code? What kind of statement is for? For is looping, for loop. Okay. Do loop, while loop. There's a lot of programming language. But I don't know if he assigned some code based on his compiler. So now enter the following source statement. As you can see, this is sub 1 and sub 2. Okay. Test 5. So in this program there is sub 1 subroutine. Okay, so meaning a function, if you call 2, it will go here. Okay, if you call 1, it will go here. Okay, so compile the program and load down part program memory in the CPU simulator. Click on the show program memory, and already did that. Click on the show pipeline button. This is new. Okay, and check the checkbox label no instruction pipeline. Close the window CPU simulator window, do the following. Then click on the reset program button and program this frame. Now you manually execute this program instruction. To do this, double click the currently highlighted instruction, so you start with the MSF instruction. Then do the code. So just run it manually. Compile. Then paste, Control V, and paste it. Then once you compile it, try to review those symbol table. So it's failed because of this, so it should be code. That's why I told you to change by code. So you can see while I'm adding code, it will add code on the right side. Then you cannot simply delete it. Delete cannot. And backspace cannot. Shift and delete. Okay, shift and. So this different console, like in Linux, BIC is not easy to run. Okay, so or you copy here and change here. Okay, change your notepad, change this into code. Easy for you. So after changing this code into code, copy. You can cut also if you want to have a, you don't want to copy, so you can cut and paste. So delete this one, override it, and same thing happen. Now compile this. I am sub 1, I am sub 2, and here you delete that, remove all the programs. So we are in test 5. As you can see, our sub 1 start in 0, sub 2 start in 20. Okay, so if you show the subroutine, start in 0, sub 1, sub 2 in the address, size 2025, line 25, test 5. Okay, so address 0 and 20. So you can, this one is mark a stock frame, then call every MSF there is a call, then it will record the last calling function in the stack, the next instruction from the stack. So it will record the 50, here it will record the 25. Okay, so let's clear our, remove all the programs, make it fresh. If you want only, but it's up to you. You can list a lot of programs here. You can combine all the programs and run it. So load into memory and it will load. Okay, after loading in the memory, it's stated that manually run this, and this is the pipeline here, and there's no instruction pipeline. You can stay on top here. It is just run the command. It's like a graph only actually. So once you click step, so it will run MSF online 45 here. Step till not halt. So as you can see, after MSF there is a marking here at the top of the stack and the bottom of the stack. It is automatically in the system, done by the CPU, so no need to worry about this. As you can see, there is 50 here. After call, it record the last address 50, so I will go back to you later. Okay, so the bottom stack is -1. Then we are going to run MSF again, so there is a stack marking the stack again. So once you run that, so there is 3 and 2. After call 0, so it will go there and it will record 25. So there should be a 25. After running, there is a 25 here because it recorded. So the bottom stack is -1. Then once you run, after calling all this, then return, it will clear the stack. Okay, so out, and return. After return, it will go to 25, 20. Okay, so it will jump to 25. So after return, it will go to 50, which is the halt. Okay, after out, R02 into console, so it is putting a value in our console. So this is input and output console. So this is the console. Okay, so you can stay on top here also if you want to see, and these are only a graph of the command. Okay, so this one you can exit. And as you can see, I am sub 1 after call, so step, then out 10-1, I am sub 2, you are calling, and return. So it's done out, and the system will clear the stack. So that's how it works. I'm sub 1 and sub 2. Okay, so we run all this. So pipeline, we click the no instruction pipeline, click the reset button, and program list, and manually MSF. And as you execute the program in this manner, make the following observation. We note the program stack frame contain after executing the instruction return. Keep executing instruction until it reaches the halt. So you know where it goes, then you can edit that one. You can ask the program to jump to another location. Okay, you can push, you can pop. If you know what's happening with the time call, right? We explained already. Okay, so now here we are going to run a interrupt 5. Okay, so it will do the looping, and we are going to trigger this interrupt, and we are done. Okay, so from here we will follow the instruction. Okay, we are going to run the program here and copy this into your notepad, and after copying to the notepad, you edit this quote, the double quote, because it is slanting, so it's not the the character should be expected by the program. So sub any, okay, So cut, and I'm going to remove all the programs, clear the CPU, and here overwrite, paste the program here, sub any, and is equal to 0, so it should be like that, and sub. See, this one is pink, so meaning okay. If not, there's an error. Then you compile it, and remember the me2 is interrupt 5. Okay, so it's generating the code. So the me2 is in 12, and show the symbol, and integer 2, R01. Show the subroutine list. So we have any and me2. Okay, we have sub any and me2. So this is the address 0 and 12. As you can see here, we have 12 and 0, and it will jump to itself. So it's keep on looping, jump to me, jump to me, jump to me, jump to 32. Okay, so it will loop. So after looping, will trigger the interrupt and it will run. So as we can see, we are going to load that in our memory. Then we're going to execute what the instruction is in RAM, executed by the CPU. And clear this one. Okay. Click this one, stay on top. Okay. Then there is interrupt. As you can see, our interrupt is number 12. Number 12 is interrupt 5. It is in our compiler. As you can see here, number 12. Okay, that is our interrupt. Si sub me2. Sub me2 is become interrupt. So the purpose of this lesson, we're going to create our user interrupts. Okay, so let's run the code now, and as you can see, we make it fast and run. So it is keep looping on itself. Jump to me, jump to me. Okay. So we're going to trigger the interrupt, high interrupt, and it will go to hello interrupt. Okay, we trigger you. So that's it. So let's say the cursor is blinking, blinking, blinking. Then you click the keyboard, so it will trigger. Okay, so that's how it works, and trigger the interrupt. Okay, once you always click trigger the interrupt, hold the interrupt while it's looping. Okay, then as you can see, trigger. See, there is a lot of 1:33 in the stack. Trigger, then stop, and you review what happened to the stack. As you can see, from the bottom of the stack, there is 0 up to 33. So there is 0 up to 33. So it's like it's a time consuming recording everything. So just review what is the difference of vectored and fold. Keyboard is vectored. Okay, that's the example. Is in table. The mouse, the keyboard, it is in vector interrupt. It is in the table of interrupt in the hardware of the system. Fold is it's like your program is detecting the printer if it is answering or not. Let's say print, then it will run the fold. Okay, so the example of fold is the printer, and the vector is the hardware interrupt built in Windows. As you can see, there's a lot of, so when you click keyboard, it will call interrupt 21, then it will assign the, as you click in your keyboard, in your mouse, interrupt 33, calling interrupt 33, if you move the mouse. So those are the vectored. So you Google it, what is the difference between vectored and fold. I give you an example already. So we are done in our tutorial. So what you learn here is as we expected. Okay, you can, the important thing here is you know now how to compile it, how to load in the memory, reviewing the interrupts and everything. Okay, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoy our tutorial. So if you find it useful to the student, subscribe and like. I hope you enjoy. Happy coding. Okay, and goodbye. Wonderful. Okay.